Love him or hate him, you cannot ignore Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. From humiliating opponents inside the cage to electrifying crowds outside it, this fighter is rewriting what it means to be a UFC star. If there's one thing Paddy the Baddy Pimblett does better than most, it's grabbing attention. The Scouser isn't just fighting, he's performing. Every walkout feels like a rock concert. Every fight ends with fans buzzing, and every interview sparks debate. In this video, we're breaking down why Paddy Pimblett is one of the most talked about names in MMA today. It isn't just about winning fights, it's about owning the spotlight. His mix of raw skill, fearless personality, and a never-boring style has made him one of the UFC's most polarizing figures. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why Paddy Pimblett divides fans and fighters alike, yet keeps the entire MMA world talking. Is Paddy Pimblett the UFC's next big star, or is he just hype? That's the question everyone's been asking, and to answer it, you can't just look at his personality or his trash talk. You have to look at the full picture. A true star has to do three things: win fights, move people, and sell moments. And right now, Paddy the Baddy checks every box. Inside the cage, he's not perfect, but he's dangerous everywhere. From his Cage Warriors title win in Liverpool years ago, where he finished his opponent in under 90 seconds, to his UFC debut knockout against Luigi Vendramini, Pimblett has shown time and time again that when the lights are bright, he delivers. He's not just racking up decisions, he's ending fights. Against Rodrigo Vargas, he took a clean shot, stayed composed, and still submitted him in the first round. Against Jordan Levitt, a fight filled with real bad blood, he broke him down and closed the show in round 2. Those aren't safe, padded performances. Those are finishes under pressure. The critics said he was being protected, and maybe early on, the UFC was building him carefully. But that's what they do with all rising names. The difference is what happens when those training wheels come off. Look at his win over Tony Ferguson. Yes, Tony was past his peak, but Paddy dominated bell to bell. Then came Bobby King Green, a veteran who had fought everyone. People said Paddy wouldn't last. Instead, he became the first man in over a decade to choke Green unconscious. That's not hype, that's proof. And the biggest test so far? Michael Chandler, a former title challenger with knockout power and insane toughness. Paddy didn't just survive, he dismantled him, finishing the fight with a vicious TKO. That's not a fighter being sheltered. That's a fighter stepping into the fire and proving he belongs. But star power isn't just about wins, it's about presence. Every time Paddy walks out, the arena feels different. Every time he's on the mic, fans either cheer or rage, but they all pay attention. Some tune in hoping to see him win. Others tune in hoping to see him lose. Either way, everyone's watching. And that's what makes a star. Sure, he has flaws. He can be hit early, and his confidence sometimes leads to risky exchanges. But here's the truth. Flaws don't kill star power. They make fights unpredictable. They make fans lean in closer. That's why people keep coming back. So is Paddy Pimblett the next big star or just hype? The finishes say star. The crowd say star. The growth in his game says star. He might not hold the belt yet, but in terms of attention, impact, and pure entertainment, Paddy the Baddy is already one of the UFC's biggest stars. The only question now is, how high can he climb? So if Paddy Pimblett has already proven he's more than hype and has the star power to back it up, that leads us to another big question. what about the nights when things didn't go his way? Because if you're going to call yourself the Baddy and carry that much confidence, people are going to remember the moments when it backfires. And Paddy's had those moments. He's never been shy about walking into the cage with his chin high and his hands low, trusting his toughness to carry him through. Against Rodrigo Vargas, for example, he got clipped early and looked like he was seconds away from being in serious trouble. A lot of fighters might have crumbled there, but Paddy recovered, flipped the momentum, and got the submission. That's the double edge of confidence. It can put you in danger, but it can also give you the calm to fight through it. The Jordan Levitt fight was another one that raised eyebrows. Paddy promised a beatdown, but in the opening exchanges, he didn't look unstoppable. He struggled to find rhythm at first, and some fans started to wonder if the hype was catching up with him. But by round 2, he adjusted, pressured, and found the finish. It wasn't flawless, but it showed that even when his confidence gets tested, he finds ways to adapt. And then there's the Tony Ferguson fight. On paper, it was a huge name on Paddy's resume, but plenty of critics argued that Tony was past his prime and that beating him didn't prove much. The danger here wasn't that Paddy would lose, it was that he'd look underwhelming. And to some fans, that's exactly what happened. He didn't get the flashy finish. He didn't deliver the chaos people expected. Instead, he played it smart, won cleanly, but gave doubters fuel to say, "See, he's not ready." Even against Bobby Green, where he scored one of his best wins, the confidence narrative still followed him. Some believed he underestimated Jared Gordon before that, and nearly paid for it. Confidence can sell a fight, but when you don't dominate as promised, it turns into regret in the eyes of fans. That's the reality of being Paddy Pimblett. His confidence is both his greatest weapon and his biggest risk. It makes him fearless, willing to walk through fire, but it also opens the door for criticism whenever he doesn't deliver a picture-perfect performance. And that's why, for as many fans who love him, there are just as many waiting for him to stumble. And that brings us to the last question. Why do fans either love Paddy Pimblett or absolutely hate him? Because there's rarely an in-between. With most fighters, people either respect the skill or move on. With Paddy, it's personal. Part of it comes down to his personality. He's unapologetically himself, loud, playful, sometimes brash, and never afraid to say exactly what he thinks. He'll dance on the walkout, crack jokes in the press conference, then snap into savage trash talk without missing a beat. To his fans, that's refreshing. He's real, he's entertaining, and he brings energy back to the fight game. But to his critics, that same personality feels like arrogance, like he's more interested in fame than fighting. The other part is the hype machine. Paddy doesn't just show up on fight night, he dominates headlines. His interviews go viral, his walkouts light up arenas, and his post-fight speeches are replayed as much as his knockouts. For some fans, that makes him a superstar worth rooting for. For others, it feels like he's being pushed too fast, getting opportunities they think more deserving fighters should have. And nothing divides a fan base like the idea that someone is being over-promoted. Then there's the fighting style itself. Paddy isn't the clean, technical striker who picks opponents apart from a distance. He's wild. He takes shots. He takes risks. He gets hit, but then he comes back and finishes fights. That chaos makes him must-watch television, but it also gives his haters ammo. Every time he eats a punch or gets taken down, people jump online to say, "See? He's overrated." And yet, here's the truth. Love him or hate him, everyone tunes in. The fans who adore him show up in wigs and chant his name. The haters show up hoping to see him finally fall. But both groups fill arenas, both groups boost pay-per-view numbers, and both groups keep his name in the spotlight. That's the secret of Paddy Pimblett. He doesn't need everyone to love him. He just needs everyone to care. And whether it's admiration or frustration, he gets exactly that. It's why his fights feel bigger than his ranking, why his walkouts feel like concerts, and why his name stays at the center of UFC conversations. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into MMA's biggest names, and drop your take in the comments. Is Paddy the Baddy destined for UFC gold or destined to crash under the weight of his own hype? Let's settle it right here.